Cars down on the grid. Green flag, we're on the way in the final. And straight away the battle's picking up for second on back. Coello straight out of the gate. He's looking strong, certainly no mechanical issues just yet. That was what blighted him and caused that technical timeout. And he's looking to the inside, he'll get third here. He gets third from Wisniewski. Ali Dor's a nice move, and Kurzbuch was also looking for a move on Wisniewski as well. Meanwhile up front, Greiner and Lino are also going at it straight away. Your TQ and your Super Bowl winner, both full of confidence after their respective qualifying victories. And now the battle is on, duking it out between Greiner, somewhat of a young gun but an ace in qualifying, a world and European TQ, versus Lino, a champion as far back as 2005 and one of the most experienced drivers in our sport. There's not much he hasn't seen, and there's not much he doesn't know about RC racing. And he's going to have to use it all to not only try and mount an attack on Greiner, but also fend off Coello. Coello is charging in out of nowhere. He's made it up to third, and straight away he's on the offensive, going full attack early doors in this final. That's exactly what you need to do to make up these positions early, because you can see Greiner potentially disappearing off into the distance. That's exactly what he doesn't want to have happen. If Coello feels like he's the fastest out there, he's got to get the move done now. He went for the dive bomb there on Lino, didn't quite get it. Lino's defensive skills having come to the fore. Desperately, but Coello up the inside. What a clean as a whistle move. A beautiful pass from Coello. Takes him up to second place. Demotes Lino to third. And what an action-packed start to this A-main final at the 110th IC European Championships 2015. Greiner is out to a little bit of an advantage. Barely a second on Bruno Coello now in second. Third for Teemu Lino. Fourth place for Simon Kurzbuch now. Kurzbuch's moved up to fourth place. So that has displaced Wisniewski back to fifth. And Kurzbuch now closing in on this top three to make it a four-car pain train up front. Greiner is trying to give this field the goodbye look, but he just can't shake off Coello, who's come out of the box full of vim and vigour, full of purpose and full of pace, despite those issues in the warm-up. Appears whatever is on that car, they've got it fixed. And they've certainly got that thing firing on all cylinders. So it's Greiner your leader, Coello second, Lino third, Kurzbuch fourth. All four of those drivers, the drivers that we saw out in the 1/8 IC European Championships 2 weeks ago in Ettlingham. And how much will that experience have paid off here? How much will that experience have counted here? For some, not much. For others, maybe a lot. But certainly for Dominic Greiner and Bruno Coello. Greiner talked to us yesterday in the press conference. He said the 1/8s were not his main focus, not his main skill, not his number one discipline. This is most certainly his home turf. Boy, hasn't he been demonstrating it. Coello keeping up with him though, slowly starting to make the ground up. It's not much, but it's just eking in a little bit in the micro sectors. It is fine margins, and I think we'll start to get a bit of a clearer picture on this battle for the lead when the pit stops begin. But actually, if we drop one car back from this battle to Teemu Lino, and there's your second place car, there's third Lino, and there's fourth Simon Kurzbuch. So the battle for third is also intensifying as well. Dirk Wisniewski is just still in touching distance, but he's in danger of dropping back from these guys. So the 2009 champion not having the best start to the race, but he's still got plenty of time to claw it back, and plenty of pit stops to get through as well. Here is your battle for third on screen then. This is Teemu Lino versus Simon Kurzbuch. Kurzbuch, your top qualifier from out in Ettlingen in the 1/8 discipline, and a confident winner of his semi-final earlier. He comes in bursting with confidence. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead is really starting to crank up now. Greiner is under all sorts of pressure from Coello. Coello tried to replicate his move that he got second place with, and he's going for the lead now. Where do you make the move around here? There's so many chances. You're almost spoilt for choice, but Greiner's got everything covered so far. Coello got a nice run out of the corner, but Greiner is gashed down the straight. What a beautiful move! That is an awesome pass from Coello. Take a bow, that man. If that is a pass that's going to win you a European Championship, what a way to do it. Right down hard into the EFRA hairpin, right up the inside. Magnificent. And now what has Greiner got in response? Because Coello has come out of here and has started like an absolute speeding train right now and has been unstoppable for those in front of him. Wisniewski, Lino and Greiner so far have not had anything for him. So what next is Coello? Well, now here we go. First round of pit stops underway. And this could be decisive, and look at that! Dominic Greiner much quicker in the pit stops than Coello. So could this be where the battles are won and lost? Coello with the edge on the track. Greiner's crew making the difference back in the lane. This is going to be absolutely down to the wire stuff if it keeps going like this. The first cycle of pit stops underway then. We're watching Greiner's car on the track. I'm going to keep close attention as in comes the number 2 and the number 5 cars. And that's Coello and Greiner that we're still following right now. Just behind these two, one car back, is now Simon Kurzbuch. Wait there just a second. So we're going to the EFRA hairpin. There's the top 2, Greiner and Coello. And then one car back behind them. Oh, contact between the top 2! It was the rematch, and this time Coelho's big move did not work. Now, is that going to cost him with a penalty? Will they count that as avoidable contact? I have a horrible feeling they might do. Let's see how this one plays out as they continue their battles around the track. Coello to the lead then on Greiner. Let's have a look at that move on the VRC Pro replay. Coello to the inside. Looks like Greiner tried shutting the door and Coelho was already there. 6 of one, half a dozen of another to me, but I'm not sure if they will judge that as avoidable contact, and I think he may have a case to answer if that's the case. So it ultimately hasn't changed. Well, it has changed the lead battle in that Coelho is now back to the lead on Greiner, and this battle just took an interesting new dimension on. But now, after that instant, Simon Kurzbuch is now joining in the fun as well. So there is your leader, Bruno Coello. There's second, Dominic Greiner. There's third, Simon Kurzbuch. It really is that close right now, ladies and gentlemen. It is fast, it's frantic, it's edge of your seat stuff. And guess what? We're only 7 minutes into this race. There's still an awful long way to go in this final. And an awful long way to go until we find out our 2015 European champion in the 1/10th IC track touring car discipline. There is Greiner, and there is Coelho. His pace is extraordinary. And I have a feeling, judging by the fact we haven't heard anything from the referees yet, that I think they are letting that one go. No harm, no foul. Maybe 50-50, a bit of everything in there. Meanwhile, the battle for third is actually intensifying behind Greiner now. So there's Coelho, there's Greiner, and then there's Simon Kurzbuch, and there's Timo Leino, who started second but has struggled to live with these top 3 so far, but he's mounting a little bit of a resurgence here. Dirk Wisniewski's also on the back end of this battle pack. So he's also hunting for something, but it just looks to me like Leino and Wisniewski are just struggling to keep up with the same pace as the top 3 right now. Kurzbuch has started at high speed and with high confidence, and Coelho has started this race like a runaway express train with all the pace to match. And Kurzbuch now trying to rein in Greiner, proving more difficult than it sounds, as Kurzbuch now coming through the start-finish area to complete 20 laps of this track, or 19 laps, sorry, of this track. Kurzbuch continues in the top 3, just starting to space a little bit. To me, Bruno Coelho certainly has the speed advantage, but how pivotal could Dominic Greiner's pit crew be in deciding this one? It's what got him the lead back after that opening stint, having lost the lead to Coelho early doors. Coelho now in front and starting to eke out an advantage, upwards of 2 seconds at the line. Third then for Simon Kurzbuch. There is still really nothing separating these guys. Timo Leino now 4th. 5th still for Dirk Wisniewski. And further back behind them, it's Patrick Neyer running 6th. 7th for Quentin Leroux. 8th for Mikael Dadarian. 9th for Alexander Hagberg. And 10th for Joe Kerry. Some more pit stops start beneath us. Pit stop cycle commences again. I see Wisniewski in the lane. So pit stops underway again beneath us. And meanwhile, out on the track, I see Kurzbuch is now ahead of Coelho. And you would assume that has to be, unless I was looking the wrong way for just a split second, which is entirely the case in this high-speed action. Coelho now running 3rd on the track with Kurzbuch. Now, was that because of an error out on the track by Coelho? Or has Coelho taken his first pit stop of this second round? Either way, he's got designs on having his second place back off of Kurzbuch. And even if he is trying to wait for a pit stop, it's not going to happen just yet. Meanwhile, the leader, Dominic Greiner, getting into a little bit of issues with lap traffic. Not too much, though. He makes it safely past Quentin Leroux. And through Kurzbuch and Coelho through. I have a feeling, you know, that Coelho lost those positions on his own. That was not a pit stop error. He's now down to 3rd and hounding Kurzbuch, who is in turn hounding Quentin Leroux. But, meanwhile, Dominic Greiner now 3rd place, so I think the pit stop cycle is underway. Meanwhile, this battle continues between Coelho, Kurzbuch leading then from Coelho Third place now is Greiner, just behind these guys. And a spin there. Half spin, and that was some of the lap traffic they were working their way through. So many numbers and cars flashing by at such high speed. It's difficult to keep tabs on sometimes, but Kurzbuch is definitely maintaining his lead for now, and actually gapping Coelho a little bit as this race constantly keeps chopping and changing in front of us. It really is hard to keep tabs on it right now. Here comes Kurzbuch to the lane. So there you go. That has pretty much answered the question then, whether that was a pit stop cycle thing, but Kurzbuch back out and away with a great pit stop. And that car behind them that went with them was Teemu Lino. So there's Lino, and there's Wisniewski. Still locked together on the track. Those two just starting to lose a little bit of time, lose a little bit of ground in the pit stops. Meanwhile, we look for Dominic Greiner. There he is, there's Greiner. Just navigating through lap traffic. Kurzbuch's also there as well. I have a feeling that Kurzbuch has got something up his sleeve for these top two. But it's just about getting near enough to them to make a charge. At the moment, there's always a lap car between himself and Greiner. It's always difficult right now. Oh my goodness, a lot of airtime for Greiner there through the bus stop chicane. As Kurzbuch navigates through. Kurzbuch maybe starting to sense the pressure cranking up on Greiner. And that was a spectacular move through the bus stop, but it did not help Greiner's speed at all. It is not the fastest way around the track to have all four wheels off the tarmac. Kurzbuch continuing to hound him. This is an absolutely excellent battle. It's a tense battle. You can feel sweat dripping from the drivers. The brows of the drivers up there. Nerves of steel does not even cover it. We've got a car slow in the final few hairpins. They're going to have to move past it. They're going to be okay. That was the number 9 of Quentin LaRue being retrieved and being brought back to the lane. Oh my word. Marshall cut it very fine. They have to try and get their cars back to the lane as quickly as possible. But meanwhile, unbowed, this battle continues. That is, I think, the number 10 we've got on screen of Mikhail Dedarian. Continuing on, and LaRue, I think, is also back out there. I think, no, that's Joe Kerry, my apologies there. Wisniewski's also in there. So the battles continue on the track. That's Teemu Lino going through with Wisniewski right with him. And in fact, it looks to me a little bit like these guys are catching up just the tiniest bit on Kurzbuch. What is really to note is that Bruno Coelho is coming through the final few hairpins now. Coming through to the start-finish area. The orange and white number 2 car is just completing the lap as we speak. There he is. There's your race leader. And he now has a very handy advantage indeed over Dominic Greiner. 3.603 seconds for the Portuguese driver. And this is really starting to turn into a performance par excellence. And let's drop back to the battle for second, because it is cranking up. There's a car slow over towards the entry to the back straight. Those final few corners, I think that's Wisniewski, you know. Wisniewski being retrieved by the marshals. Which car is that? I thought at first glance that might be Wisniewski. I have a horrible feeling it is. It's the number 3, it is. So Wisniewski, the only former champion in this field, looks like he will not be adding his name to that title this year. But meanwhile, while we've been watching that, Coelho, there's your lead trio. Coelho then, Greiner second, third place, Kurzbuch. They've tightened back up. And I wonder if that was a routine fuel stop for Coelho that brought them back together, or something else. An error when we were watching elsewhere. Pit stops happening all the time. But this battle for second, either way, has been one that's been raging lap after lap after lap for about 6 minutes. Kurzbuch really gaining now. He's supreme under the brakes. Now what does he do? He's looking for a gap. He's surely got car speed on Greiner. Looking there. He just has to be careful and wait for the inside to open up. It didn't there. You're not going to get it by going all the way over the rumble strips. Going right through the bus stop chicane. This is where Greiner came to grief a few laps ago. Now onto the back straight. Does he go for the lunge into the EFRA hairpin? Coelho style. Well, if he did go for the move, and Greiner just denied him. He saw that one coming. He wasn't going to be fooled again. And Kurzbuch has actually lost a little bit of time. Greiner now in the pits then. So Kurzbuch will move through to second. Greiner back out again. His crew doing a magnificent job. His pit stops are absolutely top draw today. And that's what's keeping Greiner really right in contention right now. And Greiner back out on the track then. So he is running fourth now behind Teemu Lino. Coming through his shot there. Is that Joe Kerry? I think it might be. The British underdog. But Kurzbuch has just come through the start-finish area. He's in the first few hairpins. And Coelho just still ahead of him. There is Kurzbuch's car, middle of his shot. He's going onto the back straight now. He's just behind the green and white car of Patrick Neyer. And Wisniewski's car, meanwhile, down in the pits, is getting back in the race. So I'm not sure what he can do from here. Kersbuk up the inside of Neyer. Kersbuk second then on the track. Coelho leading. But still, I think pit stops to be had for these guys, particularly Kersbuk. So Greiner down in fourth. Teemu Laino is now up to third. The pit stops happen with such dizzying regularity. It's tricky to keep tabs on them, but certainly the strategy is going to be a pivotal one. When do these guys take fresh tyres? You feel like the common consensus is that no one will be able to go the whole distance. Here comes Kersbuk in. So we watch for Greiner, and the answer is that Greiner is out well in front of him. It looks like they go through the first few corners. Well, not quite as much, but I think Greiner, it's advantage Greiner after that round of pit stops. We nodded our approval, and we saw Greiner's pit stop at just how rapidly efficient it was, and it was an excellent effort. So Greiner then back to second, third for Kersbuk. This battle continues to be the most fascinating one on the track for the lower podium positions. It's all happening a little distance behind Coelho, who is now a couple of straights away and in front. He's actually 5.8 seconds up. Coelho's pace is just absolutely relentless right now. He just keeps clicking off the rocket fast laps. This is the sort of laps he'd have wanted in Super Bowl yesterday, but to be honest, if you'd given him a choice between being fast in Super Bowl and being fast in the final, to the point where his pace was pulling away from the rest of the field, I think he'd bite your hand off to take option B. And that's the one he's got right now. They work past Patrick Neyer, the lap car. He's in fifth right now. Teemu Laino running fourth then. Wisniewski, after his issues, is seventh. 2 laps behind the leaders. So, in fact, Wisniewski's back in the lane, but I think this is for a routine stop. No, it's not actually. More issues, I think, the cars, but he is back out again. So he'll continue soldiering on. But meanwhile, we continue to watch this absolutely nerve-wracking battle between Dominic Greiner and Simon Kersbuk. Two of the stars of qualifying, two of the fastest young drivers in this discipline and in this scene. Greiner back on home territory. Kersbuk coming in with a lot of confidence. Both of them top qualifiers in various events before. Greiner top qualifier for this event. And both of them with a wealth of speed and a huge amount of metal and a huge amount of mental steel and resolve. This is a high-speed staring contest right now. Who blinks first? Kersbuk has been working over Greiner lap after lap, but it is so close that there is no real separating them, except in the pits where you feel like Greiner has the advantage. It's not quite enough of an advantage to claw back anything he lost to Coelho, who is still out in front, by the way. But you do feel like it's enough of an advantage to get him somewhere. Although, having said that, wait a second, where is Bruno Coelho on the track? No, there's Coelho. Sorry, I believe he's probably had a... There he is. There's Coelho. And I have a feeling, judging by how much he's dropped back, that was either a problem that required a pit stop or a tyre change. So it was slightly longer than normal. So Greiner and Kersbuk are now your leaders. Coelho down to fourth behind Teemu Laino. This battle is still pretty much anyone's. There's Coelho coming through, so I wonder if he took his tyre stop relatively early and that's what's sent him back to that position. It would certainly explain why he's gone, because even before, we've had a spin over on the corners of the back straight, and I think that was Kersbuk who had an instant. He's going down towards the EFRA hairpin now. Into the EFRA hairpin now and coming through the final hairpins. There, coming through beneath us is Dominic Greiner, but you'll notice the lack of proximity between him and Simon Kersbuk, who's a good through cars back. There's also a car off. Oh my word! Oh my word, don't tell me that's Coelho. It is Coelho. It's Bruno Coelho. Massive drama in the European Championship final. The leader has gone boom. Is that a blowout? We had issues in the warm-up. Surely those gremlins have not come back to haunt him on the biggest stage. He's down and away, he's back out. So he's still in the fight. But those two in front of him were his rivals on the track and ones he was well ahead of. But now, I think he's actually lost a lap to them. Those guys still have to make pit stops as well. So that battle's just in front of them. And in fact, that battle now between Kersbuk and Greiner could be one for the lead. Although Teemu Laino is in front of them and Greiner's run wide. So Kersbuk now ahead of the two of them. It's dizzying, this race at the moment. You can't take your eyes off it for a single second. Teemu Laino is currently the leader. And I wonder if that's due to the pit stop cycle. If it isn't, it's an absolute masterstroke from the veteran. And he's out in front well. And Simon Kersbuk now second. Third in line is Coelho. But of course, he's now a lap behind those guys. And he's been told by the referee to let Greiner through. That is not in his nature at all. He's been battling these guys for position the whole race. But now Coelho is a lap down on these guys and probably has to cede the position to them. He doesn't want to. He wants to try and get the lap back. And at the moment, he's just staying ahead of Greiner on pure pace. Meanwhile, we have a car off near the end of the lap. That's the number 9 of Quentin LaRue. These two fighting through. Coelho now having a scrap with Lino. Lino's fallen back behind Kurzbuch. So Coelho there, he finally has to let through Greiner, but I don't think he let him through actually. I think Greiner took that move on himself. He took things into his own hands there to make that move happen. So now your current leader then, at about halfway in this enthralling A-main final, is Simon Kurzbuch. He's coming into the EFRA hairpin now. There is your lead battle. Kurzbuch leads. There he is, right in the centre of the shot. Second is Teemu Lino. Third in that line is Bruno Coelho. Kurzbuch now into the lane, as well as Teemu Lino. Crucial set of pit stops for these two. Is it fuel? No, tyres for Lino and tyres for both of them. Absolutely pivotal. They've got to get this right. They've got to get this absolutely spot on. And as we watch the pit stops happen, right next to each other as well, it couldn't be more nerve-wracking. Alexander Hagberger also coming in the lane as well. We watch Coelho and we watch Greiner come round on the track, but you guys are watching the pit stops happen. Down and away for Teemu Lino. And where's Kurzbuch? Kurzbuch has got out just in front of them, but Kurzbuch has also got out just in front of Bruno Coelho. Just a few cars in front of them. The battle is on. There it is, right to the left of the shot. It's Kurzbuch versus Coelho for the lead. This is absolutely enthralling stuff. But I think Greiner is also just ahead of them on the screens. It's hard to keep track of this one for an instant. Kurzbuch, Coelho. Greiner is third in line then. Fourth is Teemu Lino. And Lino's, no, sorry, that's the number 10 car. Mikael Dardarian having to come back into the lane. So this top three we're watching here is not entirely full position. No, it is full position. In fact, Greiner, just behind these guys, is a lap ahead. And I think by dint of not making the stop, but this battle here is for position. And it's for second right now. Kurzbuch versus Coelho. Coelho on the comeback trail after being blighted by mechanical demons. He was leading this one comfortably. Now, he's right in the centre of an absolute firestorm. And he's trying to salvage his race and get back to the top step. Greiner moves past. Greiner a lap ahead of these guys right now. I only think that's a strategy call. Oh, but an instant for Greiner. An instant for Greiner. And now he loses time. My goodness, does no one want to win this final? This is unbelievable stuff. Kurzbuch now ahead of Coelho. Greiner still ahead of both of them. But a lap ahead of both of them. Well, not quite a lap ahead of them. You just see them behind. They're not on the same lap. So Kurzbuch and Coelho battling for a maybe provisional lead. They're also waiting, I think, for Greiner to make his pit stop for tyres. Because both of these guys have made their tyre changes. They are good to go to the end. Not on fuel, but they should not need any more tyre changes. Coelho having a big stab at Kurzbuch. He's been the most aggressive out there, making the big moves. Sometimes they've worked, sometimes they haven't. But he's been relentlessly entertaining the whole way through and relentlessly on the attack. He looks to the inside, doesn't quite get the move done. Looks again on Kurzbuch. Kurzbuch holds firm, but wherever he's looking right now, he's under attack. Finally, Coelho makes the move. What a pass! What a pass! Up onto the back straight. A phenomenal move. And Coelho back ahead of Kurzbuch. The fight back is on for Coelho. He had his technical issues, and now, what can he get out of this one? Right now, he's running second, and that is also provisional on where Dominic Greiner is and what his strategy is. Let's have a look at that move on the VRC Pro replay. Beautiful move, right up the inside, tucked in, neat and tidy, right on the apexes. Sharp as anything, clean as a whistle. Well done, that man. And when Coelho has been on form in this race, he has been utterly unstoppable. So we watch now. Greiner and Coelho's back in the lane though, as is Dominic Greiner. Coelho in for fuel though, but Greiner in for tyres. So this is the pivotal stop of the race. Watch there, that jig system that Greiner's got. Hopefully saves some time. So we watch his pit stop with bated breath. Bearing in mind the two cars that he was battling with on the track there were a lap behind him until now. They should make that lap back here, but where do they come out? Where do they come out? What's happening? A wheel has rolled across the pit lane. A wheel has gone loose in the lane. Doesn't appear to affect his stop. He's back out. But no, he's not. No, he's not. He's had to come back in. Absolute disaster for Greiner. That's cost him hugely. And this race takes yet another dramatic twist. This is unbelievable. So your leader now is Simon Kurzbuch coming up to the EFRA hairpin. And he's ahead of Bruno Coelho after that last round of pit stops. There's Kurzbuch is the next car in line coming through. There he is. There's Kurzbuch coming through. There's your current leader. In this sensational A-main final, you can't take your eyes off it for a second, because all of a sudden the top three has completely changed order, and in fact Teemu Lainu is now back up to second, ahead of Coelho in third. Greiner now down to fourth. Absolutely unbelievable. Now what happened there? That was blink and you'll miss it stuff in the pit lane for Greiner. We've got 20 minutes left of this race, and I tell you what, I don't want it to end anytime soon. This has been magical entertainment, fantastic RC racing at its very best. Drama, action, tension, amazing skills, and a little bit of controversy. Here we go, the VRC Pro replay might show us what happened there. We saw a wheel go loose in the lane, and then Greiner went out, and then he stopped. Did he flame out when he left the pit lane? He had all his tyres on the car, so that wheel that went begging was not an issue. I wonder if he flamed out or stalled getting out of the lane. Yes, that looks like he's trying to get refired. He stalled. The engine flamed out as he went to leave the lane. How pivotal could that be? Could that be the moment that decides the 2015 European Championship, and more crucially decides his fate in this race? Now if we drop one car back, two cars back actually from this battle, there you go, they're locked together. Look at these two orange bullets flying down into the EFRA hairpin. This is Teemu Lainu and Bruno Coelho, who are going to war for second place. Once again, Coelho on the offensive, and another great pass from Coelho. This is an absolute clinic he's putting on out here. This is wonderful to watch from Coelho. Frustrating for him because he just wants to lead the thing. And Kurzbuch's had issues. Kurzbuch's had issues at the side of the road. There he is. Oh my word, so suddenly what was a move for second is now a move for the lead. Kurzbuch's car. Is that terminal? Is it all over for the Swiss driver? Is it all over? Well, we've got highlights all over the place. Absolutely amazing action. Kurzbuch back out then. He's back out and underway. So issues for Coelho earlier, issues for Kurzbuch now. And as it stands then, Coelho is back to the race lead, having had issues earlier on. And now he's back to the lead of the race. Let's watch that incredible pass on Teemu Lainu. Look at that, right up the inside, slicing through. Awesome job. And Coelho has been putting on an awesome clinic of performance driving out there. Coelho then back to the lead. And Simon Kurzbuch is actually still showing a second. So where is Teemu Lainu in all of that? Lainu is still showing us 5 seconds back. That's interesting. Simon Kurzbuch had a quick stop there, but he had a delay. So the car immediately behind Coelho there is Dirk Wisniewski, who's not in this battle. So there's your leader, Bruno Coelho, again in this race. Has fought back from having mechanical issues earlier and has fought his way back to the lead with a world-class clinic of overtaking and passing and aggressive driving here. And just a couple of cars behind him is Simon Kurzbuch, who's still in second place despite having his own mechanical troubles here. You know, this race may well be decided on who has the least issues, not who has a completely fault-free race. It's who has the least issues out of everyone. And right now, it's Coelho who's profiting. It's Coelho in the lead. Kurzbuch second. Teemu Lainu third. Fourth for Dominic Greiner. He had his own issues. He had problems in the pits. Alexander Hagberg up to fifth. Sixth for Patrick Neyer. Seventh for Joe Kerry. Dirk Wisniewski down in eighth. And Mikael Dardarian and Quentin LaRue rounding out the field. And we've still got over 16 minutes to go in this A main final. As Coelho back in the lane. Is this a routine stop? Looks like it. Fuel down and away. A slick, ruthlessly efficient stop. So Coelho back out there, but Kurzbuch is the leader for now in this cycle of pit stops. So Coelho is your leader, but Kurzbuch is not really that far ahead of him. No, sorry, Kurzbuch is your leader, but he's not really that far ahead. There's the green car, Patrick Neyer. He's not a factor. The car in front of him, Kurzbuch, there he is. He's your leader now. And you feel like that him and Coelho are going to trade blows all the way to the end here. He doesn't pit yet. Coelho's pitted consistently slightly earlier than Kurzbuch. Kurzbuch has pitted slightly later than Coelho throughout this race. But Coelho's pace is absolutely phenomenal. Even now, before Kurzbuch's pit stop, he is tearing chunks out of that lead. Kurzbuch then with brief issues. He's also been in and out. So pretty much everyone in the top four has had some sort of problem at some point in this race. And really, it is who has been able to rise up. Here comes the lead battle again. We think Kurzbuch's still got another pit stop. But Coelho is right there. Kurzbuch and Coelho right together. This is the battle for the lead happening right in front of you, and it's a battle that has raged literally from the drop of the green flag. Coelho once again. Surely we're not going to have another addition to the Bruno Coelho awesome overtakes highlights reel. Patrick Neyer is stopped out on the track, but we continue to watch the lead battle. Kurzbuch versus Coelho. It feels like it's been this way since the very start of the race, with Teemu Lainu and Dominic Greiner also in there as factors, but they've started to fade in this late part of the race, and really it's almost an issue of stamina. Who is going to be able to live with this ferocious pace and this epic level of attacking racing and attacking driving? Coelho just loses a little bit of time on Kurzbuch. I wonder if he understands that he has a little bit in hand, maybe a pit stop in hand. Kurzbuch still not pitting though. I think we've still got a long way to go in this one. Trying to predict the pit strategies is a brain teaser in itself, and it's one that's almost impossible to do whilst also focusing on the line. We've got 15 minutes to go then. 15 minutes to go in this EFRA 110th IC Track European Championship A main final. Our coverage of this awesome race brought to you by HB Europe, D'Agostini Model Space, VRC Pro, and of course EFRA, whose event this is. And what a mighty fine conclusion this is to this excellent event, which has caused drama from first minute to last. Got a car being retrieved over on the back section, but we're not going to pay attention to that right now. We're going to pay attention to this lead battle that once again is really closing up. This is excellent stuff. This is awesome as they come down into the EFRA hairpin again. That's Wisniewski's car being retrieved. You just saw the marshals there, but we're still paying attention to this battle. Kurzbuch's gapped Coello again, but here comes Coello again. He builds up the moves, he builds up momentum, and then he goes for the big pass. And 9 times out of 10 in this race, he's got it spot on. Sometimes it hasn't worked. Comes through the bus stop. This is a move he's made before. Doesn't get it this time. Kurzbuch was anticipating it. How does Kurzbuch's concentration feel? How's your luck feeling now? Kurzbuch is desperately trying to hold Coello behind him. Anything he's got to do. This is a raw knockdown, drag him out battle as the race continues. Still no pit stops from either side. Coello was looking to the inside there, and again he took a big swipe at him. This is absolutely enthralling stuff. This is awesome stuff. Kurzbuch makes a little error in the bus stop. Coello to the inside. Another picture perfect move. How many more times is he going to do this in this race? I have no idea. But if that does not end up winning in the European Championship, I have no idea what will. Another phenomenal display of aggressive driving from Bruno Coello. And Coello, having made the move, is now on his own because Kurzbuch now has pitted in. And I wonder if Kurzbuch's strategy was just to stay out as far as possible. Let's have a look at that on the VRC Pro replay. He set it up a lap ago. Kurzbuch went to the side. Coello pinched it right in. His car hugging the apexes and sticking glued where other cars have not quite been able to. This is a phenomenal display of driving from Coello, considering his mechanical issues, considering the technical issues he had just before the race, considering everything. This is a phenomenal performance from the Portuguese driver. He's been a breakout star in the last couple of years, in the last couple of seasons. And is this his coming out party? Well, even if he doesn't end up winning this thing, which the way this race has gone, it could all still go that way. Anything could still happen in the next 12.5 minutes. Even if he doesn't end up winning this championship, he will have put the competition on notice as to what he can do at the top level of European competition. And what he can do is overtake anybody you put him behind. Literally anybody. It doesn't matter what experience they have, doesn't matter what chassis they're running, what body they're running, what their pace is throughout the event. He will go for the kill, and he will 9 times out of 10 make that move stick. What an awesome display of driving this has been from Coello. His racecraft is without question. Now, let's see how his pit crew are doing. Fuel in, down and away, and he stays ahead of Kurzbuch. Granted, not by much. There's Kurzbuch, there's the lead battle for you. They're back together again after their most recent pit stops. So Coelho's still just ahead of Kurzbuch. Has he got the pace for him? They go around onto the back straight then. This is your battle for the lead. It could not be any closer. Coming in towards 10 minutes to go in this A main final. This race is not decided by any stretch of the imagination just yet. Stick with this one. This is going to be an absolute thriller right down to the checkered flag. Timu Lainu is keeping a watching brief in third, but he's a little bit further back from these guys. As we watch the top two, he's in fact a couple of corners back. So Lainu is in touching distance with this as well. And Coelho is out there. And in fact, still not updated yet, is Greiner and Lainu is showing second and third. Kurzbuch still showing a lap behind, so I think we're working this out, that Coelho is your leader. Yes, Coelho is your leader. Kurzbuch is actually down in fourth, so I think the pit stop cycle is playing out. I think Coelho has one less pit stop to make. Lainu is actually a second place car, so, and where is he in amongst all this? Lainu is actually having a good battle of his own with Dominic Greiner. Those two are coming up to the EFRA hairpin now. There's Lino's car coming through now. So there's the battle for second. Lainu and Dominic Greiner have a good scrap. Greiner, your TQ, will look for at least a podium out of this one. He has to feel like that's the least he deserves after his efforts out here. But Timu Lainu, winning that thrilling Super Bowl session yesterday, has got second place on a lock right now. He's 5.1 seconds back from Bruno Coelho. I don't think he's got anything left in the tank for Coelho pace-wise, but certainly he's got all the nous, he's got all the experience, and you know that for as long as his car keeps running, For as long as he has energy in his hands, he will keep that thing trucking on at a relentlessly quick pace, and will keep Greiner behind him. But we still have just coming up on 10 minutes to go in this absolutely astonishing A-main final of the EFRA 110th IC Track European Championships. Your top three is Bruno Coello, then Dominic Leiner, Teemu Lainu second, Dominic Greiner third, fourth is Simon Kjærsbøk, about a lap behind these guys, but Lainu, that's Mikael Diderian who's just coming in and out of the lane. Lainu's still on the screen there, battling with Dominic Greiner. He went a little bit wide out of that corner. This is the battle for second, really starting to tighten up. We've got another scrap on our hands now. Greiner the TQ, contact, and a half spin for Greiner. You can see that one coming. Greiner, I think that was 6 of one, half a dozen of another. Another incredibly close moment, and another moment where two of the lead battlers came to blows. And I don't think that affected Greiner's race too much, except that it has dropped him far behind Teemu Lainu. Another incredibly tense moment. Let's have a look at that again on the VRC Pro replay. He looks up the inside. Lainu went out to sort of in on the exit and straightened up further than Greiner thought. But Lainu now into the lane. Greiner continues on for an extra lap. But Teemu Lainu, looked like a little bit of a slower stop to me. It didn't look like the best he could actually. And that car is not running. It's stalling out. Something is not right on Lainu's car. Is it misfiring? Is something happening on that car? It's slowing. Teemu Lainu's car slowing. And it's just not going anywhere. Looks like it keeps cutting out. Something not right on that number 2 car. And is this Teemu's chances down the drain as well? This has been an incredible final. Everyone has hit issues at some points, and you can hear the gasps going up in the grandstands as Teemu Lainu's charge appears to have come to an end. This is a guy who has been in more major finals than I've had hot dinners, and yet just can't buy a break when he gets there. There's Kjærsbøk going by. There was a lap behind him coming into this pit stop cycle. He's slowing. That car has no power. There's nothing there. He's going to have to come back into the lane. Something is not right on that car. And I wonder if it's a throttle servo problem or something with the fuel pickup. Who knows? That car really not going anywhere. Surely this can't be how it ends for Lainu. This can't be how it all ends. It's been a battling performance. It's been a mighty race from these guys. And it's been thrill a minute. And that look generally signifies you ain't going any further. His experienced team of mechanics with as much talent and knowledge as he does are looking to the driver's stand for answers, and he's probably looking back at them as if to say, I haven't got any ideas left. It's been that sort of day. What an absolute travesty for Teemu Lainu. He's up there with a shout for the podium. He's one of the strongest runners out there, but he is. That's it. Looks like race over for him. So let's get back to the back action on the track then. Who is left standing? At this point I don't really have much of a clue, but going through those corners up there, there's Bruno Coello. Coello, he's still your leader. Alex Hagberg has now moved to 4th, but he's still about a lap behind, or quite a distance behind Simon Kjærsbøk. There's Kjærsbøk, who's 3rd at the moment. Dominic Greiner is his 2nd place runner, and Greiner is now in the lane though. So Greiner takes on fuel, gets back out there. Here is your leader, Bruno Coello, and we're just over 6 minutes to go. How much more work does he have to do to get this championship back to Portugal? He's had to win this race about 5 times with mechanical issues and dropping down the order, and his opponents giving him absolutely everything. That's Patrick Nair in front of him, who ducks to the pit lane at the right time. Kjærsbøk is still in front of him. Kjærsbøk is 3rd, trying to stay on the lead lap. Trying in vain, I think, to stay on the lead lap ahead of Coello, because he knows as long as he's got that, he has got a chance. A little bit wide from Coello. Surely not wildlife fever now. This can't be good. We've got a car off. And we did have a car off at the EFRA hairpin. Now, who was that who went off? I think that's Dirk Wisniewski again. His car has been blighted by issues all race, and it has not been a good run at all for the 2009 champion. Yeah, it is Wisniewski's car coming back to the lane, and he's had problems all day long. This is not how his final was supposed to go. As we follow Bruno Coello then, I can confirm that Dominic Greiner is about 7 or 8 seconds down the road, so not entirely out of the woods, not entirely lost just yet. It's not entirely a losing effort. Coello coming through the first few corners. We're just waiting now for Dominic Greiner to come through, just to show you the gap between the two, between the lead two. And some more shouting down in the pit lane, but Greiner's just come through into the first few hairpins, the pink car there, right in the middle of your shot. There he is. So Greiner still losing time to Coello though. no one just has the raw speed to keep with Coelho. Still only 9 seconds between the top two, which of course can evaporate in a hurry, especially if more technical issues strike Coelho. That's got to be where the nerves have got to be kicking in now. Coelho has put a lap on Kurzbuch now, which will help. Greiner into the lane. And I'm fairly sure Coelho has still at least got one more stop to do. He hasn't pitted in a while, but Greiner then, not another flame out. And for the team that was having such a good run with their pit stops early in the race, it's gone horribly wrong in the last few stops, to the point where it may well have cost him a shot at championship glory. Meanwhile, Coelho then is a few corners back and a few cars back. So let's wait here, and it'll be this third car in line as they come out of this corner. There's Coelho, orange and white car coming through. It's a smooth, aggressive performance from Coelho, and his bravery has been rewarded so far. He's had all sorts to deal with. Kurzbuch's car in the lane and back out again. So Kurzbuch looks like he might have third place on a lock. He's about a lap ahead of Alexander Hagberg in fourth. Coelho's still got, I think, another stop to go at least. If he isn't, then his engine is saving fuel unlike anything else I've seen. He's got the Scott Dixon effect of managing to save fuel whilst going faster than everyone else. Right now he's up behind the lap car of Mikael Dadarian, who has not really been a factor in this race, but he's running 7th right now. French driver, who did well to qualify up into the final. Shout out to Joe Kerry, by the way, running 6th, having done the double bump up from the quarterfinals. So a good effort from the British driver. And Coelho then moves past Dadarian then. And it is so close right now. This race is still not decided by any means. Here comes Coelho. This has got to be his final stop of the race. Not as fast as he'd have liked, but he's back out. And he's back out and back underway. That's Kurzbuch just in front of him. Now, I don't think that was for position, because I think before Kurzbuch was still fighting to avoid going a lap down. So Coelho getting some airtime through the bus stop. And still, he's still got 3 minutes to go. Hang in there before he becomes European champion. They come around again and Kurzbuch's name suddenly appears at the top of the chart. I think I'm going to blow a head gasket, but I don't think it will. I think it's worked out as I think it has. Yes, it has. Kurzbuch is back on the lead lap, but only just. Running third. Dominic Greiner is still quite a way back and is actually fading. His last few pit stops have not been what he wanted, but they've been exactly what Bruno Coelho wanted. And it's been a awesome performance from the Portuguese driver, breakout star of the last few seasons. And knowing this final, I'm not going to say anything presumptuous just yet. He certainly hasn't got this one in the bag just yet. The way this final's going, absolutely anything can happen. It's a bit like being at the dinner table and the proverbial tablecloth has been tipped up. Time and time again in this race, it's happened. And Coelho, it's noticeable that Coelho is not putting anywhere as much pressure on Simon Kurzbuch near the end of this race, because he doesn't need to. He's got Kurzbuch right where he needs to, and he's got Dominic Greiner right where he needs to. With 2 minutes to go, Bruno Coelho is your leader. Dominic Greiner is about half a lap behind. There's half a lap separating the top two. There's been barely anything to separate the top 4 or so during this race. Teemu Laino, it almost doesn't seem fair that he'll prop up the table here. James is shaking his head alongside me. It just doesn't seem fair. The veteran who's seen and done so many things in this sport and done so much for this sport was right there in contention to win, and this was another masterclass drive from him until a technical problem halted his progress. And the other 3, it's been a tale of who comes out the other side having suffered the least from their issues. Coelho had technical issues. 100 laps on the board for Coelho. There should be lap 101. There he is, 101 laps for Coelho, and he's still got a minute to go, and he's still got a handy advantage over Dominic Greiner. He has got 1 minute 60 seconds to go before we crown a new European 1/10 IC track champion. And Coelho has only got to keep it clean for about another lap or 2 before he does the business. Right now, as these two come through, that's Joe Kerry on the screens there, but there is Coelho. There is your leader. And after an absolutely enthralling race, which has had literally everything you could ever want from a motorsport event of whatever scale, Bruno Coelho, I think he's going to beat the clock, you know, and he's going to end up doing another lap. This is like Le Mans 1969. Oh, a bit of a slide there, but You don't need to be putting a show on now, Coelho. One more lap for Coelho. One more lap. This will be his final lap. You think 10 seconds to go then. This is it. The final denouement in what has been a spectacular tournament for the EFRA 1/10 IC Track European Championships. But in less than half a lap, Bruno Coelho is going to cycle home and bring home the victory with some of the finest aggressive racing ever. Bruno Coelho is your new European champion after a fantastic performance. What a world-class drive and what a well-deserved victory. And you can see the emotion on his face there. He is absolutely delighted. Those around him quick to give him congratulations. But after that amazing drive, I can't think of a more deserving winner. He had to pull out more world-class overtakes than you'll see in a full season of certain motorsports. And I believe Matt's going to try and grab an interview with our new European champion.
Bruno, I won't keep you long because I know you want to go downstairs and celebrate, but what a drive. Congratulations.
Yes, the semi-final was a little bit hard to drive. We did some change in the car and really works the change, and I'm really satisfied with this. I have no words more, really.
One more question. This season we've followed you in all different classes of racing, 12th, 10th electric. You are the man who's shown us how to overtake. You've done it time and time again in this event. How are you so good at doing that?
I don't know. It's I do it like that. I don't know why.
Well, congratulations. We'll talk to you in the press conference. Go and see your team. Cheers.
Great to hear from Bruno Coelho. You see the celebrations there. You see the handshakes and sporting gestures from his opponents, his fiercest rivals throughout this tournament. But in the end, they had to give best. And I cannot think of a more deserving winner. What a fabulous drive from the Portuguese driver. He was declared the breakout star of the last few seasons of RC racing. And today will be marked down in history as his coming out party, the day he showed the RC racing world he's here to stay and he means business. Bruno Coelho wins the Euro A main final of the EFRA 1/10 IC Track European Championships and is your new European champion for 2015. Dominic Greiner, your TQ, just came up short in the end in an absolutely fabulous battle. It was basically